Rick Hatchett finally meets the man who allegedly killed his father. Laurie and Jacqueline put it all out on the table while Kate plays the fence, and Timothy Ratliff gets closer and closer to his appointment with his maker. Oh, and Belinda wants to turn down Greg's life-changing hush money of $100,000? All this and more on this official White Lotus Season 3 Episode 7 recap, brought to you by Parts Unknown Melbourne with Moose and Gandalf. I'm Moose, and as always, I'm joined by Gandalf. Gandalf, how did you feel about this penultimate episode?
Thank you for having me, Moose. Great to be back. Look, I've been a big fan of this show since the first season, and I knew that an episode like this was coming. But I want to step back a little bit because I think a few episodes back we did see Lucius Malfoy's member.
Yes.
I thought that was really just not needed in terms of the plot. I think that was shock and that was crude, which shows me that, what's his name, the creator, Mike Myers, he's really kind of lost the plot, and this will be his last probably work with television.
No,
But
I think you've said this a few times, but I think it's more so, I just think it was a bit relevant because in episode 1 we saw the anus of Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. Right. So I think that is a good foreshadowing, showing obviously, okay, there is a connection here. There is a father-son relationship there. Yeah,
and I think that's really important. That's what this show does better than any other show on TV. It kind of shows these connections and does that, then that's, it strikes your mind back, okay, well, what else is going on in this family? The mother's got the pill addiction. The daughter's got something going with the temple. The brother's kind of torn between college or, dating his sister.
Yeah,
and then
who in real life is dating Iris Apatow.
The kid who's the younger brother.
Yes,
really?
dating Iris Apatow.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
That has got me thinking. I've been thinking about what is the around the dinner table conversations with the Apatow family at the moment, because you've got Maud, who's doing
Euphoria. And Euphoria season 3 finally, and also directing something. I've seen on her Instagram. She's created a production company of sorts. She is directing.
But
I'm
also
not sure
you saw her live, right?
Yeah. A few years ago, I saw her on an off-Broadway show of Little Shop of Horrors. Then the following year, I was in London. I was fortunate enough to be seeing some shows on the West End. And she was actually in Cabaret, and she was the one that sung "Maybe This Time." Yeah, no. So I can't say enough good things about London's West End. When people say that it falters comparatively with Broadway, don't mock it till you try it, because you get some big stars out there. We've had Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, Bill Burr, all come out recently and perform on the West End. So
I know,
tick.
So you got Maud doing that, right?
Yeah.
You've got Judd Apatow, obviously.
Yeah, he can talk about anything over the last 30 years.
Yeah. And then you've got
Leslie Mann,
who This Is 40.
George of the Jungle.
Funny People.
George of the Jungle.
What is Iris doing? And now Iris's close boyfriend is in one of the most successful TV shows at the moment. So what is Iris doing? That is our question.
Well, as you may recall, she was recently appeared in Seeing You Tonight, Bad Idea, right? She was in that film clip.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Gandalf, did this episode remind you of anything in particular?
The Rugrats movie, Rugrats Gone Wild, where they get lost in the jungle and they're... Wait,
they made the Wild Thornberries.
No, I'm getting that mistaken. I'm just thinking.
But that could work.
That could work as well. You're very right. But I'm just thinking of the first Rugrats movie where they get lost in the jungle. The Gone Wild one I didn't like because they gave Bruce Willis, Spike the dog had Bruce Willis's voice, and it was just so tacky and it just did not work. I'm a Bruce Willis fan. Love Pulp Fiction. Love Die Hard. But this did not work.
Many viewers wouldn't have thought that there are 2 Rugrats movies where they're in the jungle. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, there it is. It is. So
there's the jungle one, there's when they go to France.
Yep.
And then there's the jungle again, is what you're saying.
Yep. And the jungle again one was, as you said, a bit of a crossover. That was kind of a last-ditch effort to get people to be still invested in Wild Thornberries, because they were huge in the 90s. And then I think, whereas Rugrats and SpongeBob survived, Wild Thornberries, people weren't interested in outdoors anymore with the birth of the iPhone. That came if they'd made Wild Thornberries about paper toss or, the fart machine app that you could get, I'm sure many people would have tuned in. But that's a sign of the times we lived in then. And, they adapted, which is why Rugrats did the Rugrats Grown Up series.
Okay.
Where they're all teenagers and, they've got iPhones or tablets. You can't see the Apple logo, but I'm sure it was meant to be an iPhone.
Yeah, I remember from that series, the main thing I remember from that is Phil and Lil.
Yeah.
Phil and Lil. I think Lil.
Yep, that's the girl.
She's the girl, yeah. She
Top marks.
did She did like the high school radio
Oh, okay.
thing,
I
or
don't
maybe
remember that
middle
episode.
school. As in, yeah, she did the student radio.
Yeah.
And she came out to her friends. So, you got Chucky, Tom.
Tommy, yep.
Yeah,
Dill.
yeah. Dill. Maybe even Angelica.
Wow.
She would have been a
Susie?
few grades ahead.
Susie.
Yep.
And, of course, little Kimmy, which was Chucky's adopted.
But most
stepsister.
importantly, you had Phil there, right?
Yeah,
so
the brother.
the twin, the
Yeah.
brother. So Lil walks out and goes, "How do you think I went?"
Okay.
And Phil says, as you imagine, a twin brother would say,
Yeah.
especially at that age, he goes, "Well, you've got a face for radio." And that was the first time I heard that saying.
Chucky definitely annoyed me the most because he was very cowardly. And I know he's meant to be the safe one, but he was a little shit.
Yeah, he
most of
really
the time.
reminded me of the cowardly
Lion from the
Yes.
Wizard of Oz.
Yes, the Wizard of Oz.
But he got a heart in the end, or courage, or whatever he got.
Yeah,
Chucky
yeah,
never
yeah,
found
yeah.
that. It was a great show. It was just a great time to be alive, let alone just a great time to watch Nickelodeon.
I know, but completely different to the White Lotus format now, where those shows would just go on and on and on, and the episodes wouldn't really relate to each other that much, which is obviously what White Lotus tried with season 1 and season 2. They were kind of come in at any point, evergreen content. Whereas this season is
You need to have
you
been
do
watching-
need to have seen the previous episode
Yeah.
to get what's going on. And by the way, spoilers on this video. That could be a bit too late to say, but spoilers.
No, you're absolutely right. That's one of the things I liked about, because I only watched maybe 2 episodes of season 1. And it was like episode 2 and episode 5.
Yeah.
And I still know everything that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Same with, I watched most of season 2. I didn't watch the last episode, but I watched everything else and I still knew what happened. The thing that I think it left a bit of a sour taste in people's mouths this season was more so the fact that they noticed a change in the theme song, which people didn't really love at first, because that was one of the reasons we loved the White Lotus. The doody 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 doo doody doody doo.
All right, well, let us know what you think will happen for episode 7. 7th Heaven. It feels kind of like Christmas Eve at the moment,
I
where
know.
this is the episode before the big finale.
Listeners, just be ready for this. The next time we speak to you will be after the final White Lotus episode has come out.
And if you can't wait for that, you can check us out where you usually grab us, Past Unknown Melbourne with Moose and Gandalf. We review the best bars and cafes in Melbourne.
And we're not going to break the bank. See you next time.